Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day and welcome to my rewrite of Ash's Kanto journey. As you saw in a post, or maybe you didn't, I'm not too sure, where after uploading part one of my Alola rewrite, I decided to go back and do Ash's first three journeys. Journeys, or technically five, including the Orange Islands and Battle Frontier, but starting with Kanto and the Orange Islands. As you know, this is my rewrite, so some you wanted to see isn't here. I apologize, and some episodes from canon may be scrapped, add, reworked, or just turned into something different. Mm, So with that said, let's hurry up and get into this before I start rambling. Starting off with teams, we have Ash, and honestly, he doesn't. All he really gets is two additional members. Oh yeah, only two members not getting the same treatment as Canon. And as you can see, he keeps everyone from Canon with the additional members of Cliff, Abel, and Haunter, which reasons I should be pretty obvious. Is Haunter's here because Ash totally should have caught the one he got in Lavender Town. Got Gengar in original series, not Journeys. Clefable's here to be a reference to the old idea of Clefairy being Ash's starter and not Pikachu. Uh, as for Pidgeot and Primate, we'll go over that as we get into the series. Long story short, Ash doesn't release either of them. Next, we have Misty. Like Canon, she has Gyarados, Starmie, Poliwhirl, Psyduck, and Togepi. However, there's a new addition in Omastar. Honestly, while it doesn't totally fit Misty to a T, I think it's pre-evolution. Almond might definitely fit her. I still wanted to give it some attention, representation. Also, praise Lord Helix. Come on, it's gotta be funny. Anyway, we're only keeping Star Me because I think Misty needed both forms. Orange. Poliwhirl appears much earlier than Ken. As a matter of fact, it's already with Misty. Well, Gyarados obviously replaces her Goldeen because we didn't really need it. And sorry, Horsey, but Horsey didn't do much of anything either. So yeah, Gyarados honestly should have had it here instead of Chronicles. If you watch that, I didn't pass the Legend of Thunder episodes. Yeah, I didn't watch Chronicles much until that. So yeah, this is Misty's team. Psyduck and Togepi also have the same analytics as Ken, although Togepi does something. Next, we got Brock. Like Ken, he has Geodude, Onix, Zubat, and Vulpix. With the new additions being Marowak and Kabutops. Kabutops obviously to get both Evolves representation, but of course I didn't want one to have both of them, so I went with this. Marowak, let's be real. Brock and Marowak is an awesome duo. He already had it in Sun and Moon, but he should have just had it here. Next, we're on to good old Gary Oak. He's got Blastoise like Cannon alongside Arcan and Alakazam, and Scyther, my champ, and an Eevee. Sorry for the swap, but you know what I mean. So yeah, these are all just Pokemon I can just see Gary with to fit him to a T. And Scyther and Eevee are also here for another reason you might be able to guess when we get to Johto. Next we have Richie, and he will have Sparky the Pikachu like Cannon. However, he'll also have a Zippo. But however, it'll be a fully evolved Charmander. Because he really definitely should have been that way for the league. Alongside that, while we're sadly getting rid of his Butterfree Happy, they're taking place with Tangela, Pinsir, Sandslash, and Poliwrath. Tangela and Pinsir are here to get has a representation and some love. And Sandslash, well, no one when Major really had it, so I'm changing that here. And finally, because it's cool. It's a cool Pokemon, and you should probably figure out why Missy doesn't have it. Now we're on the Corey from Mew Strikes Back. Yeah, he's actually going to be a major character and be one of Ash's rivals alongside the first two. Like Ken, he has Venusaur and Hitmonlee. His Rhyhorn is now a Rhydon. Fear replaces his Pidgeot since Ash has it. Rabbitash and Cloyster are here to give him some fire, water, and grass trio. Also, because I think they're cool with him. Or at least they look cool. Next, now we're officially kicking things off into the series. Starting off, we have Pokemon I Choose You. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really I'm not really gonna explain this at least because everything goes the exact same. Same, representing Ash's early stages. What? Hey, how come? Oh, he's doing his really Pikachu's not so great relationship and what happens afterwards to help him get to closer. Following this, of course, is the events of Pokemon Emergency, with one change being that Misty uses a Magikarp and slaps the mess out of Team Rocket, but still can't do much than not being in water. And ending with Team Rocket's long-running goal to steal Pikachu and Ash trying to catch a Caterpie. And this is then followed by Ash catches a Pokemon, with Ash successfully catching Caterpie being celebrated. Later on, he catches a Pidgeotto. Don't Caterpie evolves in the Metapod, but they're dealing with Team Rocket. Next is what would be the challenge of the Samurai. And the difference is Ash doesn't battle the Samurai. Instead, he's placed with Richie as he shows up here. But anyway, he uses Zippo, who's a Charmander, and Sparky against Ash. But the Beedrill stuff happens, the battle's called off, while everything else goes the same. With Metapod evolving in the Butterfree, and the two trainers agreeing to battle again. Afterwards, Ash and Misty head to Pewter City for Ash's first gym battle against Brock, which goes the same as canon. Pikachu's unable to do anything against Onyx and is suffering because of the bind, so Ash reluctantly forfeits. Flynn, a man who Ash met earlier upon arriving, helps Ash, but first shows him Brock's home life with his bunch of siblings and trains not just Pikachu but Butterfree and Pidgeotto as well. Also, she's gonna move to Butterfree to help Ash win. Following that, Ash goes back for a rematch where he uses Butterfree and Pikachu against Geodude and Onyx. Butterfree shows off the new move being Mega Drain, which defeats Onyx, or Geodude I mean, and does good damage to Onyx, but unfortunately is still knocked out. So Pikachu using its new superpowered electricity and a little help from the sprinklers gets Ash the win. Yes, Ash gets his match is official. Initially, through slight luck to represent his growing ego. It's gonna happen for AG. But we'll get there eventually. Anyway, Ash does get the badge fairly this time. Brock slings in a rub before he can get at the badge. Ash has to go to the Pokemon Center, and while Brock relaxes his siblings, he's saying he'll come back for it later. However, the rest goes from canon from there. Brock catches up to Ash and gives him the badge. Brock's father is revealed to be the man Flynn, who takes over the home and gym, while Brock joins Ash and Misty to become a Pokemon breeder. After that, we get the events of Clefairy and the Moonstone, which does us ditch the scientists and have the gang set explore by Moon will bond with a bunch of Clefairy. And after stopping Team Rocket, Ash is given a Moonstone from their leader as thanks. Oh yeah, and Ash also sees the same sign of Gary was here, Ash was a loser, which makes him angry. After making it out, we see the water flowers of Cerulean City, with everything up to Ash meeting the sensational sisters going the same. When Misty shows up, Ash sees Misty's dynamic with her sisters. They clearly view her as inferior. Misty's kind of in their shadow, so Misty left wanting to become a water Pokemon master and prove or she's just as good as them. Um, this is where Misty's going to be a water Pokemon master is revealed. Anyway, afterwards, Ash and Misty have their gym battle. Butterfree and Pidgeotto versus Poliwag and Starmie. Poliwag and Pidgeotto end up tying, while Butterfree in a very close battle defeats Starmie before the wing beat register, or at least before I can get the badge more specifically. Team Rocket and with the same water draining thing. In the end, they're stopped, and Ash gets the Cascade badge. Or Cascade badge, you know what I mean. Anyway, next is the path of the Pokemon League, but instead of AJ and a bunch of randos, it's the Nugget Bridge, where Ash succeeds, but loses to Corey badly when he meets him. Ash's stubborn side would show, where the two will become friends, and the routes that Corey gives Ash some advice. And then we get the School of Hard Knocks, which does go the exact same as canon. Following that, at the three Kanto Star episodes happening, Bulbasaur in the Mysterious Garden, Charmander the Square Pokemon, here comes the Squirtle Squad. What, I said straight, right? I hope so. Anyway, all these go the same with Ash catching each of them. Start. After that we end the next episode with Mystery at the Lighthouse, with the additional detail of Ash catching Krabby. After that, the gang now made it to Vermilion City, where Ash and Pikachu take on Lieutenant Surge and his Raichu, which goes the same as canon. And so do the next events. Ash and Pikachu lose badly. At the Pokemon Center, Pikachu is given the chance to evolve, but refuses. And an idea from Brock, the two go back for a rematch, exposing Raichu's weakness of evolving too fast and use their speed to outwit them, resulting in Ash and Pikachu's victory and Ash getting the Thunder Badge. Honestly, yeah, there's nothing really to change from this. It's honestly perfect. Next is the next three episodes, which I'm calling the Shipwreck arc. All right, with the difference being that the Magikarp is Misty's are not scam and by James was get art from a scam, courtesy of you know what I mean. Again, anyway, well, the Magikarp does still evolve in the Gyarados, but the anger from that causes it to being kicked by James causes him to go crazy. After those the next episode, which is instead of a banned beach episode, which we're not going to talk about, is where Ash and Gary reunite, and the two were back. Idle, and Ash would lose that. Then there's Tentacle and Cruel, or Misty and Gyarados will work together. Although Misty would have to get through to Gyarados and get him to calm down. And they'd stop this together. And yeah, as I said before, no Horsey capture. Sorry, Horsey. After that, we get the Ghost of Maiden's Peak with the extra detail of Brock catching a Cubone and bye-bye Butterfree. Anyway, now in Saffron City, Ash takes on Sabrina, but instead of Pikachu, he uses Krabby, who would take the Butterfree spot now that she's gone. Or he's gone, sorry. Anyway, just like Ken, now, oh yeah, and Sabrina uses Alakazam now. So this was the sixth gym. I feel like she would have definitely had more chance. Anyway, though, like Ken, Ash would ultimately struggle immensely, get no upper hand, and be forced to forfeit. After that, they get advice from what in the events of the Tower of Terror would happen, with the actual detail that Ash officially catches Haunter, who doesn't disappear when we get to the rematch. Anyway, Krabby and Alexander use like cannon, but Hypno and Haunter are now new members because the battle's now a 2v2. With Haunter's help, Ash wins the battle, but Haunter still makes Arena laugh in the end and helps her reconcile with her family. And Ash gets the Marsh badge, but Haunter does not stay with Sabrina. Ash keeps him. Following that is the events of Primate goes bananas, and then Pokemon Sensation. However, this at least the beginning takes place differently. Ash instead of insulting the perfume, instead just goes whatever and walks without really caring. At least, of course, he cares, but like he says, "Have your fun. I'm gonna give him my next badge." Because honestly, this whole thing was kind of unneeded. Look, Ash is actually not wrong, but like everyone else kind of you know what I mean? Ash was wrong for insulting the perfume, but everyone else definitely overreacted considering there's one detail they completely overlooked. He's a 10-year-old bull. What, ain't the last 10-year-old unit that even cared or understood perfume? So yeah, Erica should have known that and just at the very least try to show Ash the appeal or just politely show him out the door. Am I saying Ash was right for insulting it? No, he really wasn't, and he should have just apologized when he got to the gym. But everyone else wasn't innocent either. Anyway, afterwards, Ash goes to the gym, and somehow he finds his friends already there, and they're listening to Erica talk. He gains a new appreciation, or at very least understanding of what she does. Afterwards, Ash would officially battle Erica with Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Pidgeotto versus her Tangela, Weavile, and Gloom. No, the battle isn't tough, but he wins. Yeah, although Team Rocket, who were in disguise the whole time due to Ash not being around for the trick, they still do what they did in canon, but they still save the day. Ash saves Gloom and earns the Rainbow Badge. Yeah, as you can tell, some of the Team Rocket shenanigans, they still happen, but I want to make sure they're relevant in this show, but at the same time, I'm not in the middle of the battle. Instead, I'm making it happen at the end of it, so Ash can show both his battle growth and his kind heart. Next episode after this is where Misty awkwardly bonds with the side who can catch him instead of Hypno's nap times, as we already saw him now. Pokemon Fashion Flash is next, but Susie has two Vulpix, and like Ken and Brock catches one. The Punchy Pokemon, one with the P1 Grand Prix, is next, with Ash's rivals replacing Anthony and a bunch of other side characters. Or more specifically, Gary replaces Anthony with the Machamp. Yeah, Ash still wins, and with Anthony not here, he keeps Primeape. Anyway, Sparks feel like Magic Mike then happens where Ash catches Muck and Dig Those Diglett happen with Team Rocket's partners evolving. We then arrive in Fuchsia City where Ash takes on Koga in a 3v3, but don't worry, this time Team Rocket do not interrupt. Anyway, Ash battles him with Muck, Primeape, and Charmander, while Koga battles with his own Muck, Tentacruel, and Golbat. The battle still ends in Ash's victory, and he gets the Soul Badge. Next, we got the next few episodes, which consist of the Flame Pokemonathon, but Koi replaces Lyra. The Kangaskhan Kid replacing the Dratini episode with a Safari competition, where Ash wins is catching 30 or the Bridge Gang, and Ditto's Mysterious Mansion, and Holiday Hijinks with Brock helping the Jinx out Snowy out Pikachu's Goodbye, the Battling Eevee Brothers, Wake Up Snorlax, Showdown in Dark City, the March of Executor Squad, with Charmander evolving but becoming colder. He still listens, but does it less expressively. Anyway, this is the problem with Paris. It's the Song of Jigglypuff, my bad. Then, Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon. Now, with there being a competition to find the coolest thing in a mining place, with Brock catching a Buto, Misty catching Ammonite, and Gary catching the Aerodactyl, alongside Ash in the Charmeleon evolving in the Charizard, and Ash finding the Togepi egg. And afterward, we get the events of a Chansey operation, which also serves as a development episode for Brock, Holy Matrimony, me so near yet so far-fetched, who gets to keep Togepi, Bulbs vs. Mysterious Garden, Princess versus Princess, with one chance. Up until the competition, everything goes the same. But when we get to the competition, there's one detail. So Misty does not ask Ash and Brock for their Pokemon. But I know they don't offer to help her. But Misty instead wants to win this with her own team. Like she said, when you're the youngest of four sisters and feeling in their shadow, having someone who wants to only you is important, or at least something like that. At least example, like she wants to prove she can do this with her own Pokemon. Personally, I never realized that she needed to borrow Ash and Brock's Pokemon. She wants to be a water Pokemon master and get something just for you. You instead of hand-me-downs from your sisters, versus to win this thing with your own skill and partners, which I'm doing here. Misty does, in fact, win this with her own Pokemon. In fact, even Togepi gets in the action. One battle, at least. At least for a little bit. One round. Anyway. But then we have the case of the Canine Caper, which served as growth for Ash and his team. The next two episodes being a tournament. Ash and his rivals. With the ends in Richie and Gary's tied victory, the Pokemon Paparazzi, the Ultimate Test, and the Breeding Center Secret. After that, Ash takes on Blaine. And in Cinnabar. The gang have to solve some riddles for Ash to challenge him, though. Afterwards is a 3v3 with Ninetales and Arcanine versus Squirtle and Krabby. And of course, ending with the iconic Charizard versus Magmar, earning Ash the Volcano Badge on his first try this time. Anyway, next time we get Beach Blank Out Blastoise, with Squirtle and Krabby bonding and the latter evolving in the Kingler. Oh, also let's add Gary here for one, as why not? And then we have the Misty Mermaid, with Misty's Poliwag evolving in the Poliwhirl. Oh yeah, she also doesn't give her Pokemon to her sisters because they already have their own Pokemon. Next, we have Clefairy Tail, or at least an alternate version of it. Instead of a space Clefairy and all that, the game just head back back through Mount Moon to get to Viridian City, where the game reunite with the Clefairy. But this time, Astro Bomb will won specifically, and the two will end up catching it. And now we have the Battle of the Badge. But instead of having the fine Togepi, this is where Misty would get her bike back. But since they don't have the part way, wait, was she leading out of the bike thing? Ultimately, ultimately, the end of the episode. Oh wow, Misty has to have Starmie teleport her bike back home and continue. She wants to become a water Pokemon master, and also someone has helped Brock keep Ash in line. Fine. Fine. Oh yeah, this was having while Gary was having his battle, and which would go the same as Ken. And when Mewtwo bursting out of the gym. But he doesn't find out about that. At least Giovanni doesn't yet. Next, Ash will battle Giovanni, who does not reveal his face or name. This battle is a 4v4 with Ash using Squirtle, Tauros, Charizard, and Pikachu versus Golem, Nidoking, Queen, and Persian. And I'm gonna be real, this fight was rough. Golem and Squirtle end up tying. Nidoking knocks out Tauros. Charizard coldly takes out both Nidoking and Queen. And a sort of anger, cold rage. Oh wait, I was listening to Ash that well, so he ends up losing the Persian. Pikachu then comes out and finishes off Persian, earning Ash his final badge, the Earth Badge. Following this, we get it's Mr. Mime time. We have it just be Delia bonding with a mime, and with the gang are back home, and she catches it instead. Showing at Poke Corral on the Pikahuna, which also works for a Misty episode. Make room for gloom, likes Quaction, Go West, Young Meowth, the Ancient Puzzle, the Polis, whatever. And Bad to the Bone, which is just a Brock episode where his Cubone evolves in the Meadowhack. After that, we finally get to Indigo Plateau. And everything up to We're Fired Up goes the same, with Ash reuniting with his old friends in the process. After that, we get Ash versus Mandy, which goes the same. Amos Cannon but this time Ash has much more experience. Yeah. And Kingler doesn't have to evolve because he already did, and he has more capableness. The sweep is a bit more necessary. Honestly, I didn't mind this battle. I thought that was pretty fun. Next, easy episodes dedicated to Ash's rivals winning their battles, replacing what isn't the Team Rocket nonsense that was coming on a later episode. Where Ash battled a trainer named Hank in the next round, with his Parasect, Farfetch, and Chansey versus Ash's Clefairy, Pidgeotto, and Tauros. After winning, he'd face a trainer named Peter in the third round, with Peter's Porygon, Ondo Trio, and Dugong versus Ash's Haunter, Primeape, and Pikachu. And finally, we get the fourth round Rumble, where Gary will lose his battle, and the rest will go the same. I kept this because I like what it does to Ash's perspective. From there, it makes a bit more sense because you actually had battles pre this. Ashley battles Jeanette Fisher in his fourth round match, and things go the same, except Ash uses Clefairy instead of Pikachu. After that, we would get Ash versus Richie, which is not wasted time because of Team Rocket nonsense. Instead, the two actually just have this battle. The whole episode is dedicated to this. While Ashley uses Squirtle, Pikachu, and Charizard like Cannon, Richie this time uses Pinsir while still using Sparky and Zippo. Gee, sorry. Anyway, Squirtle would knock out Pinsir, but lose to Sparky. Pikachu and Spark would have an intense battle that ends in a draw, and both Zippo and Charizard would come out. But unfortunately, despite Charizard's best effort, Richie's partner Zippo just unfortunately has more experience and knocks out Ash's Charizard. So yeah, Ash still loses because of Charizard, but this time it's to actually go with giving it their all. Instead of just refusing the battle because they realized that was stupid. After that is the events of Friends to the End, which goes mostly the same. They start with Ash depressed after his loss, going to see Richie and Corey's battle in the top 8. Yeah, that's the change. Richie battles Corey in the top 8. We also see more glimpses of their full Pokemon. Afterwards, Ash goes to see Richie after he loses, and Richie gives Ash a valuable lesson lesson he'll take with him, or at least he says it, which teaches Ash something about losing. Afterwards, Corey goes on to win the rest of the league, gets the winner's sash, while the others get a special participation badge. With the league over, the rest goes the same, with Ash reflecting in the stadium and later heading home with his family and friends. After that, we lead the events of Palette Party Panic, which was, was somewhat the same, but with differences. For start, there's Ash does get the Sinnoh Charizard, but instead of being a giant jerk, he seems depressed. Ash wonders what's wrong and wonders if it's because of the loss. I was like he was. Before he could comfort him, Team Rocket strikes, but Pidgeotto steps in and takes eyes to get air of him, or at least tries to. Before or this, Team Rocket actually recruited a bunch of ear, ear to and take over the app. But Ash and Pidgeotto look their best. Pidgeotto gets overwhelmed, which makes him evolve in the Pidgeot, which inspires Chars. Anyway, Team Rocket is sent blasting off, and then we get what happened. Yeah, unfortunately, we're ditching the GS ball because it didn't. I know what it was supposed to do, but the idea was scraps, so let's just not even include it. Anyway, Professor Oak asked the gang to deliver some goods to Professor Ivy in the Orange Islands. Then while this is going on, Pidgeot has a talk with Charizard, and the two have more Charizard's depression. But Pidgeot comforts him, saying things will be okay. To remind them, so Ash reminds them that Ash is a great trainer. Confused, Charizard knows that shit. Pidgeot gives him time, and Ash will see. Foreshadowing. All right, next we get the events of a scare in the air. And we meet Professor Ivy in the next episode. I forgot the name. But like I said, no GS ball. Also, Brock doesn't stay with her. Whatever happens already happens in this episode. Sorry, Brock. All right, and also sorry, Tracy. In which also, speaking of which, we go to the Lost Lapras, where Ash was by the Orange League and catches Lapras, but we don't meet Tracy. Sorry, man. Again. After that, Ash will take on Sissy and Issy for the first Orange League gym challenge or gym battles. And where Ash wins instead of said gym battle, he'll take the league on and challenges to strengthen in his bond with his Pokemon. For this one, he and Sissy participate in a water gun target test and a surfing race. This goes the same as canon, with Ash winning and getting the Coral Eye badge. With that said and done, we go through the events. Pikachu revolts, the Crystal Onyx, Shell Shocked, which is the evolution of Brock's Kabuto. Oh, and this after that is where we get Charizard's Chill. And where they're losing to a Poly. Ash finally understands Charizard's behavior problems while trying to heal him. Charizard's cold attitude was because of the unresolved anger he felt from Damien and not knowing how to process it, which leads him using Flamethrower, not really listening to Ash. And then he got depression because of the loss to Richie's Charizard. Ash reassures him that Damien was taught a lesson and promises he wants to not do what Damien did to him. That would helps Charizard overcome his anger after apologizing for not noticing sooner. Afterward, we get stage for Bye Bye Psyduck, but it's just an episode to help the missing side to become closer. And then the joy of Pokemon, also serving as a development for her. Afterwards, Ash would take on Danny, which would go honestly the same, and with one minor detail. After the mountain climbing qualification, Asian Freeze guys, is that we get to the Village again, whatever. Ash would win. Ash would still win, but this because he uses Kingler instead of Bulbasaur, and Charizard actually listens. Afterward, the race goes down the same, and Ash wins, gaining the Sea Ruby badge. With that done, we then get the events of Snag Attack, a ship full of shivers. There's 3 island episodes dedicated to development for Misty, Brock, and Ash, respectively, with Brock's episode involving Zubat and the Golbat. We then get the major island mismatch where Ash meets Lorelei, loses to her, and they're going to a winning streak and asks her to train him, which she does. Agreeing to train is Clefable, Clefairy, who evolves into Clefable, in the next 2 episodes. After that, we get for Thou Pokemon. We then get Rudy's challenge, which has target practice. It's like This is where Squirtle learns how to from there. And the best of three same type battle with Mug, Pidgey, Primate versus Rudy's Needle King, his own Pidgeot, and Hitmonchan. But like the battle goes slightly different from King. When Needle King does knock out Mug, Pidgeot, and Pidgey, or the two Pidgeots, so Pidgeot versus Pidgeot that ends in a draw, and Primate knocks out Hitmonchan, getting Ash the Spike Shell badge. Anyway, the next 4 episodes are nothing really too crazy. Starting off, have an episode where Ash and Corey reunite in battle, which ends in a draw, and Corey reveals his dream to become a gym leader. A gym leader, while also revealing that at this Viridian City gym is now unoccupied. Like foreshadowing again. The next episode is a bonding woman team Charizard and Primate, and get the Pokemon Water War with Misty and Brock's water types including in the fray. And then finally, Ash and Richie get a rematch. Charizard versus Charizard again, but Ash and Charizard, thanks to their new growth, of the win this time. Richie decides to join them to watch Ash's last Orange League gym battle against Luana, who for this time I'm gonna making Richie's mom. Sure, or their hairstyles slightly kind of match instead of some random dude. Richie also has a Pikachu like her actual son Travis. Sorry, Travis, we never met you. So, oh yeah. Also, this whole separating from Ashmore. Anyway, Ash faces Luana in a double battle with her Slowbro Marowak versus his Haunter and Tauros. Unlike Canon, the two don't argue, but they struggle due to their no experience in double battles. But Ash, though it's a tough battle, comes out on top in the end and earns his final Orange League badge, the Jade Star. After this, the next 2 episodes are focused on Brock and Misty, with Broxby having him help a kid showing off his breeder skills. Also, Misty's still getting the Stuns for Detour, where it would evolve in the Omastars. Since Misty already has Poliwhirl. After that, the gang finally arrive on Pumalau Island, where Ash will battle the Supreme Gym Leader, Drake. This battle is honestly mostly the same, because I think it was great. With one difference, as you can see, Clefable replaces Tauros, and her battle with Gengar, I think it's a bit longer, or lasts a bit longer before the confused Ray. Also, Team Rocket doesn't interrupt like they did in Can. Well, they do in the beginning, and while Drake's at the Adium, but not the next episode. Other than that, like Can, it comes down to Pikachu versus Dragonite, which ends in Pikachu's victory, giving Ash the victory, the winner's trophy, and a place in the Orange League Hall of Fame. Following Ash's win, the events of Viva La Lapras and the Underground Roundup would happen, with changes made to fit the rewrite. And following that, at the events of a 10 situation, where the gang arena Professor Oak at Palatine, and a boy named Tracy becomes assistant of visiting Ash's mom. And this is followed by a rivalry revival where Ash and Gary reunite and they would duke it out. Pikachu versus Eevee. However, unlike Ken, this battle would end in a draw. And after learning about Joe, Professor Rogue, and Tracy, Ash, Brock, and Misty leave there for the new journey. And that's where this video comes to an end. So, what did you all think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next